Hey y'all, hope you're doing absolutely amazing this wonderful Halloween evening. Brandon Renas here, and I kind of wanted to talk about what I made for my channel and what my goal was. My goal was to promote truth, to promote critical thinking, to promote research, to promote facts. And I don't care whether I'm right or wrong. When I'm wrong, I want to be able to come out and admit it. When I change my mind, I want to change my mind according to research and according to education. It's never emotions or feelings. I want it to be reality-based. I've done a video. For anybody that does not know me, I've done a video detailing why I will not vote for Donald Trump. The video was titled, I Will Not Vote for Donald Trump. It's what it was all about, and it was legitimate things that I stand by. But I am here to say that I have changed my mind and I am voting for Donald Trump. Now, this is not an emotional argument. I'm going to say that I full-on admit that everything I posted in that video is accurate and still is today. I do not like the fact that Obama is going to continue the drug war, which destroys families. I do not like the fact that Donald Trump wants to have more police state and things of this kind. These are disgusting things. But we have an interesting election. This is the first time in a long time we have the opportunity to elect someone who is not bought and owned. And that, to me, is critically important. So I'm going to go down the list on a few things on why I like Donald Trump enough to vote for him. And that's all it is. I am not endorsing him. I am not telling you to vote for him. I am only going to do this video if you think that it appeals to you. Awesome. If you still want to vote for a Gary Johnson or Jill Stein, more power to you. I was going to be in that boat, and I literally changed my mind within the last 24 hours. So I cannot attack you for standing up for your morals and your values if you are not supporting those two. Now, if you're supporting Hillary Clinton, I can't help your cause. To me, I don't believe you can call yourself educated and support Hillary Clinton. I do not say that to be rude or mean. I just do not believe that you can be brainwashed, you can be full of propaganda, but education means understanding both sides of the issues. And I do not understand how it's possible to support Hillary Clinton and understand both sides of the issues. That's just my opinion, but it's rooted in some pretty major facts. So now let's go to Donald Trump. This is not a Hillary Clinton hit piece. This is about Donald Trump and why I've changed my mind, why I have flip-flopped on this issue. I want to start with the economy. Our economy is a disaster. I have done a video, again, pointing out that I believe that our economy is headed towards the worst recession of our lifetimes if you're under the age of 100. So I believe we're headed towards some really, really, really bad times economically. And when I say this, I want a president that recognizes how bad our economy is, how bad what we're headed towards is. And Donald Trump has pointed out many, many, many times that our system is flawed. We are headed towards another recession. And people like you and I, the middle class, the poor, we see it. We see our income. It's not going up. The prices of everything is going up. We have less money to spend every single year. We see it. We feel it. But politicians do not recognize it. Donald Trump does. He's mentioned it many, many times in his speeches. And although I admit I do not agree with his solutions, I do not. I am willing to vote for him because he is not bought and owned. And we will get back to that later. But when you're not bought and owned, if you make a mistake, you can change your course and say, hey, I messed up. I'm going to make a different choice. I'm going to make a different decision. I'm going to make we're going to choose a different route for our country because I am not bought and owned. I'm not going to lose votes. I'm not going to lose sponsorship, which is pretty much what they are, sponsored by the military-industrial complex, the big banks, and Wall Street. So he doesn't have to worry about that. So even if he messes up, I do believe that he has the opportunity to put our country down the right track. With Hillary Clinton, or even the other two candidates, I believe that option is impossible. I am not saying it will happen, but at least it's a possibility with Donald Trump, which is more than I can say with the other three candidates. Another thing we're going to talk about is warmongers. Now, I despise war. Now, I don't despise it. I hate it with everything in me. And this is coming from someone that supported the Iraq War. I was a big proponent of it. And the more I started studying war, the more I realized that we are not going to war to protect lives, to promote freedom. We are going to war for our own selfish gains and for the people that control our candidates. George W. Bush, Hillary Clinton, they're owned by the same people. They're owned by the military-industrial complex. They are owned by the Wall Streets and the big banks. And guess what? Those guys make a motherload of money, and they've got to protect their own interests. So when Iraq says, hey, we're going to start selling our oil off the gold standard, guess what we got to do? We got to go show them some freedom. America, yeah! Let's go kill them. Woo! Million of them dead. Woohoo! So happy to be an American. We just killed 1 million Iraqis in the name of freedom. You know, it's funny. I want you to think about this. Iraq, Syria, and Iran. Last 3 countries to threaten or try to sell oil off the gold standard. Isn't it odd that those are the last 3 countries that our country has been trying to attack? Don't forget about Afghanistan. Afghanistan, they don't have oil, right? So that was about freedom, except the fact that they are the leading opium dealer in the world. We won't mention how that's become a drug issue in our country. No. We won't mention that at all. Once you start realizing this, you understand that people like Donald Trump, who says horrible things at times, and there are things that he said, for example, he talked about blowing Iranian ships out of the water for flipping us off. I despise that. I think it's disgusting. Okay? It's warmonger-like to me. Okay? I admit that right now. But the reality of the fact is, he is not owned by special interests. So when he goes to war, it's not to pad his own pocketbook. It's not to keep other special interests happy. It is to keep our country safe. And all of a sudden, that decision has a whole lot more magnitude. So that's something to think about. I don't think he's going to be as quick on the trigger as a Hillary Clinton. I don't think he's going to be so anxious to go to war as her, because he is not owned by the people who profit from the war. Drastic difference. Our country's $20 trillion in debt. This kind of goes down to the economy thing. Hillary Clinton has been in office during this time while we've had George W. Bush, who doubled the national debt, Obama, who increased our debt more than every president in the history of the United States combined. What a nice guy. She hasn't done jack squat to stop either one of them, because it helps to spend lots of money so you can buy lots of votes. The more government programs you have, yay, the more votes you can buy. Donald Trump understands debt. He understands the leverage of debt. He understands how to handle debt. This is a man that has bragged about being the master of debt. Now, that's not always the best thing in the world to brag about, but it is sure handy to understand it when you have a country that is $20 trillion in the hole, and that's not including the unfunded liabilities that are at $180 trillion. We are at a crossroads where we are going to have to make some serious decisions. And I would rather someone that understands economics and is not in office to please his owners, aka the wealthy. I would rather someone that actually can say, hey, this is what's best for our country, this is what's best for my children, instead of, hey, let me line my own pockets. Border. I do not like I do not like Donald Trump's wall. I don't like the idea of it. Or I shouldn't say the idea. I don't like the idea of building a wall that can keep Americans in, or a wall that stops other people from coming into our country. I admit this. I don't like this. But we have a problem. You cannot have a welfare system without a wall. You either get rid of the welfare system or you have a wall. That's your two options. This would be kind of like having a candy store and saying, I'm giving away free candy, free candy, free candy. Anybody can have free candy, which is what we do with welfare, Social Security, Medicaid, education, with all the different medical care we give out. And then we say, oh, well, shoot, our house is getting overran by people. Well, that's what's going to happen if you hand out a bunch of free goodies. And that's what we've been doing in our country. Hillary Clinton wants to keep doing that because guess what? Those people getting those free goodies, they vote for her at a high percentage. So, of course, she wants to keep it. Donald Trump says, hey, we're going to keep the welfare system, which I don't like. But at least he understands the fact that, hey, if we're going to keep this welfare system, we have to build a wall to protect us from going broke. We're going to run out of candy in the candy store if everybody's coming across to get it. So this is something that, even though I disagree with him on, I understand that at least he's using logic and not hurting future generations in order to promote these ideas. Inner cities. Hillary Clinton has pretended to care about the inner cities her whole life while doing absolutely nothing about them. In fact, you could say Hillary Clinton has promoted and supported the ideas that have destroyed the inner cities. Donald Trump, again, whether you agree with him or not, he is pointing out the disaster that inner cities are, the disaster that employment is in inner cities, the disaster of how easy it is to get killed, the gangs and all of that stuff. He's at least recognizing what a disaster it is. Now, again, I don't agree with his solution. Again, I hate this. But the fact is that a man that is not owned can actually learn, can actually go, hey, maybe there's a chance that I'm wrong on this. Let's fix it. Let's change my technique. I tried that. I failed. Let's go 2 years later. Let's try something else. He's not owned. It doesn't matter. My last two, abuse. The amount of abuse Donald Trump has taken. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Donald Trump is worth $11 billion. According to his financial returns that he has shown. That's a lot of money. In fact, that's an insane amount of money. You could live the rest of your life sleeping on your gold bed, driving your gold boat, flying your gold plane on whatever beaches you wanted the rest of your life with that kind of money. Donald Trump instead has chosen to run for president, where he, instead of being on a beach, is out campaigning 3, 4, 5 times a day, creating huge rallies, dealing with the media in different groups, calling him racist, bigot, every possible name in the book. Some of the stuff deserved, a lot of it not. He says something, trying to take care of our soldiers, they take it out of context and they attack him. They tear him down. They destroy him. They are destroying his name. They are hurting the Trump brand. He's probably losing money for his family members, with his hotels possibly getting less business. Now, maybe they'll get more in the long run. We don't know. But we understand that this is colossal. This is huge. He doesn't need to do any of this. So whether I agree with him or not, I can understand. I can look at him and go, you know what? This man is risking his reputation, his own life. He now has to walk around in a bulletproof vest. He's risking everything. His health, his time, the most precious thing in the world, his time, to try to fix a country that has made him so much money. It is hard for me to fathom, no matter how much I may agree or disagree with him, it is hard for me to go, oh, Donald Trump is going to try to screw our country. He doesn't want to do that for his own family's sake. Look at his record. If he didn't care about our country, he would be on the beaches all around the world, flying in his gold-covered jet. But instead, he seems to care about our country so much that he is risking his life in all of these things in order to try to make America great again. Finally, finances. You can learn a lot about a person by who they're owned by. When you look at a politician, you look at who finances them. Who's going to benefit from it? So, when we look at Hillary Clinton, it's very obvious. She is owned by the big banks. She is owned by the military-industrial complex. She is owned by Wall Street. Why do these people give her hundreds of millions of dollars? They give her that money because they understand that they're going to get favors back. She's going to go to war and she's going to make the military-industrial complex happy. Yay! Who cares that we sacrifice some American lives? They don't need to live. Let's go kill a few million more people. Yeah, America! The banks, they know that she will do what they ask her to do. She will help control the interest rates to make them more money. Wall Street, she'll do the same thing for them. She'll create more bailouts if they screw up. So they give her hundreds of millions of dollars so they can make billions. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is putting his own money by the hundreds of millions of dollars into the campaign. Now, there is no bigger waste of money than to put your own money into your campaign. So Donald Trump, the man that has made $11 billion, is risking tons and tons and tons and tons of money to run for president. This is a man that makes really wise choices financially. And he is making a poor financial choice by investing money that he will never see again. This isn't an investment that, oh, hey, I can make money off of myself. This is money that goes into a campaign. Whether he wins or loses, he doesn't get it back. He doesn't make interest on it, nothing. It's a complete loss. It's a write-off. And he is risking tons of his own money, millions upon millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of his own money to try to fix our own country. He is not bought by Wall Street, the big banks, or the military-industrial complex. He is not owned by them. We can look at the previous presidents, from Jimmy Carter all the way on. They all hate him. But isn't that funny that those presidents, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, Obama, Bush, Hillary Clinton, all owned by the same people? They all don't like Donald Trump, which to me is one of the biggest endorsements he could get. And those same people were all owned by the same people. Donald Trump doesn't have Wall Street behind him. He doesn't have the big banks behind him. He doesn't have the military-industrial complex behind him, because they recognize that he will not support the system that has made them so much money. They recognize that they would actually have to make it in a free market, in a marketplace where they would have to compete with the people instead of bribe politicians to get special favors. And that type of marketplace makes making money a lot more difficult. So of course they're not going to pay off Donald Trump. It's not a good investment. And these people are good at making smart investments. This is the reason I am supporting Donald Trump for president. This is the reason he will get my vote. And this is the reason I have changed as someone who has written or done a video saying that I will not support Donald Trump. That is the reason I have flip-flopped on this issue. Factual information, reasons, not emotion, not emails, not Hillary corruption. If you didn't know all that stuff beforehand, I can't help you. But because he is putting his money where his mouth is, because he cannot be, because people are not buying him. They recognize it's a waste of money. No matter how much I may disagree with him on major issues, I recognize that someone who is not bought and owned can fix our country and has the potential to fix our country. That will never happen with Hillary Clinton. You do not receive hundreds of millions of dollars from Wall Street and then do something that hurts Wall Street. You do not receive hundreds of millions of dollars from the military-industrial complex and not keep them happy. You go to war when they say go to war. You keep interest rates where they want them so that way they can make their money. And that is what Hillary Clinton is. She is a puppet to the same people who have destroyed our country. And those same people who have made a puppet out of the last 10, 15 presidents are scared to death of Donald Trump. They hate him. The media hates him. And I love it. Like I said, it's the biggest endorsement he could have ever gotten when the media attacks him, when the former presidents attack him. That, to me, is the biggest endorsement he could possibly get. I could be completely wrong and he could completely screw our country over, and I admit this. There's no way he's going to be worse than Hillary Clinton, but he could mess our country up, and I admit this completely. But with him, there is the possibility, there is the chance, there is the opportunity for him to fix our country. With any other candidate, that is not an option. Donald Trump will get my vote. That is all. Have a great day, you guys. Peace out.